Hi, this video is a demonstration of how to use UiPath Studio to test a web app user authentication flow using one-time passwords. So here you can see I have in UiPath Studio a typical workflow with a series of steps. And on the right, you can see a web application that allows a user to sign up with an email address and receive a OTP code or one-time password. This one-time code is received by our email account and must be entered into the confirmation box to confirm the account. In this demo, we will automate this process using UiPath and a disposable email API service called MailSlip. MailSlip is a free API service that lets us create and control email accounts in our tests and automations. All we need to do for this demonstration is sign up for a free account and copy our API key for later use. So back in UiPath Studio, let's talk through the steps we're going to use to test the sign up of our demonstration app. First, we want to create a new email account. Then we want to sign up using the Chrome driver or Chrome extension for UiPath Studio, using that email account and a test password. The next step will be to receive an OTP code in our email account using the MailSlip API, and then enter it into the confirmation box to confirm the user account. Why don't we just play this file now, have a look at it, and then later we'll talk through each step. Okay, if I click Run File now, we can see it's compiling. And then it's opened up Chrome. It's entering a username and password. And now it's waiting for a confirmation code using the MailSlip API. It received the code. It entered the code. Now it will log back in using the email address and password we initially set up. And the final stage is a welcome screen with a doc. And so that's our automation. So let's go over now each step we use to initiate this automated test. All of this code is available on GitHub at the link shown or in the description below. So the first step we do is we assign a MailSlip API key as a variable. So here is a step first. If the key is not assigned, then we'll throw an error. And if not, we'll continue on to the next step. So I've added in my API key that I got from the MailSlip website. And we will use that in the next step to create an email account. So let's have a look at this next step. So we can see here that it is just calling the inbox creation XAML. So if we go into our XAML here, we can see the inbox creation is a HTTP request. So let's zoom in and take a look at this. So we make a post request to the MailSlip API endpoint, which is shown down here at the bottom /inboxes. And we pass in a header. If I open this up, we can see a header X API key with the MailSlip API key. Okay, and we catch some errors, and then in the next step, we assign the returned values to variables. So we can see here in the regex match, we are matching for the email address value in the JSON response, and we're assigning that to an email address variable. And we're doing the same for an inbox ID. We'll use this inbox ID later to fetch emails that have arrived in that inbox. Remember, we want a new email address for each test that is unique, and then we want to receive the confirmation code in our inbox using the MailSlip API. Okay, so let's go back to main. We'll just go here. Okay, so after that inbox creation, then we run the sign up workflow. Okay, so if we open that workflow, it's using the Chrome plugin. And what it's doing is it's going to the application that we want to test, which is defined down here. And it's clicking create account. It's entering in the email address that we created in the previous step. It's entering a test password, and then it's clicking create account. Okay, and then after that, the next step will be fetching the OTP. So the one-time password is sent to our email address, and we invoke this HTTP fetch OTP.xaml. So if I open this up, what we have here is another HTTP request, this time a GET request to a different API endpoint, which is api.mailslip.com/wait for latest email. So that does what it says on the tin. It's going to wait for the latest email in the inbox, which we expect to be our OTP code. If we open up the parameters here, we can see we are passing in an inbox ID to specify the correct inbox, and we're using the variable that we set. We're passing in a timeout of 30 seconds in milliseconds. We're saying unread only true, so we only want unread emails, and we're passing our API key. Okay, and if we scroll down, we can see that for the response, we're doing a similar approach as before. We're using a regex match on the text content of the response. And here you can see we're actually matching for the subject of the email, which we will store in a variable. And we're storing the body of the email as well. Okay, so why don't we just have a quick look at what the email looks like. So this is one of the emails. It says your demo verification code is, and we need to extract this code. So back in our workflow, in our HTTP request, we're using a regex here to match for those 6 numbers that come at the end. And you can see it's defined here. And if you want a closer look at this, remember you can find all this code in GitHub. And the next step is that we assign those values to variables, and one is called the OTP code. Now, if we're back at our main workflow, the next step now is to do a login with the OTP code. So here we can see it's using Chrome again, and it is typing in the OTP variable into the confirmation code input. Then it clicks confirm, it waits, and it waits until we are shown the sign-in form again. Then it signs in with the username and password and clicks sign in. And then the last step is to check that it has a successful login. So if we open this up, we can see that it should wait for a welcome banner to show, and then it will click sign out so that subsequent tests don't preserve this session. Okay, so let's run that one more time and have a look, and we can see how we used UiPath Studio and MailSlurp to automate a user sign up and OTP code workflow. So if I click run file again, you can see it's compiling. It opens Chrome. It uses a new inbox, enters a test password. Now it's waiting for an OTP code. It enters the OTP code. It expects the sign-in form again. It enters the same details. And we see the sign-in form and the welcome screen. So if you want to use MailSlurp in your UiPath Studio tests, just go to docs.mailslurp.com, and there are plenty of examples and API references that you can use to build email-based workflows. So you can create email addresses on demand and then send and receive emails from within your UiPath Studio tests. I hope that helped, and for more information, go to www.mailslurp.com. Thanks.